So what does it take to set up your own studio anywhere you are in the world, be it your house, your home, so long as you have a power supply, you have a good enough computer, you can get started doing content like this, where not only I have a landscape portrait, but also at the same time a content waterfall system that I want to share with you today, how you can use this exact same system to create content for 2026 and beyond with very, very minimum effort. Okay, imagine this. Imagine just turning on your laptop, setting the cameras up, having at least 2 angles, have at least 16 gig of RAM, and all I have to do is just press a little button and magic, I can already start recording very, very simply with very, very minimum resistance. And that's one of the biggest struggles to actually get started with content creation today, because it's like, oh my god, I need to prepare so many things. I need the laptop, I need the screens, what if my thing crashes? And it's just so overwhelming. So today I'm going to be talking about my own content waterfall system, as well as the tech and software behind how I film my videos, and basically the entire process on how I take a video to editing, to turning it into captions, and then posting on social media, and basically kind of how do I capture the audience and leads on social media so I can turn my leads into an engaged leads, so that it's not just a one-way street but a conversation, right? It's very community-led. And then if you want to dive deeper with us, we basically have a 3 weeks program where we walk you through how to set this up from scratch, and you can follow along. And the best part is that if you are a local Singaporean or if you're in Malaysia, we have subsidies and grants for you, especially if you are an NGC member. Our programs are accredited and funded as well. So more information in the description below. If you want more information, you can just comment on OBS. I'll happily send you all the information to get started with us. What are the structure? What is the steps to get started? If not, you can just follow through. And this is not a full tutorial. It's just kind of like the surface of what you can expect, like a little sneak peek what you can expect if you to join us in the deep dive sessions. Again, it is actually 3 weeks long, but it's actually modular where you can just at your own pace practice. But of course there is a live segment as well, so you get to participate live in class, and that's really, really something I'm excited for. And yeah, so without further ado, let's begin. So the content waterfall system that I personally use follow this framework and steps, which you can totally copy for yourself, right? So most importantly is shoot, right? You have to really set aside some time to really shoot, like what I'm doing now. And of course, you need to have an audience to boost this video. So it could be ads, organic, depending on you. This one, we have 4 different ways to kind of boost this. We elaborate in another video. And then most importantly is to connect. Okay, connect with your audience genuinely and authentically. A lot of times people just do this for the sake of doing. I totally hate it. So one of the things that I personally do is if I connect with someone, even if you are watching this video, most likely we meet in on LinkedIn, Facebook, or maybe in person. So when I'm connecting with you, it's really human me, or Instagram as well. Okay, once I connect, most of the time through the connecting, I will find out whether or not this person is my ideal customer profile or business profile. So what I'm actually doing is pre-qualifying. Okay, once I pre-qualify them, and then if there is a genuine interest in what I'm offering, we talk about the gap, right? Solving the gap, you're providing the offer, or aka your solution. Okay, then okay, if they want more information, I will send them the doc or the sales page, where it contains all the information which we'll talk about in the later part of the video. What are the elements inside this doc, so that for your customer, not only it reduces the amount of resistance and time to make a decision, but at the same time, it gives them all the information they need to not be sold, but to be sold themselves. Get it? Yeah. So let's move on. So first things first, let me introduce you to this software called OBS. As you can see, there's going to be like a holo effect, right? You can see now as I'm clicking other software, it disappears and now it comes back. So as you can see, what is going on is that on the top corner here, okay, okay, I'm a bit confused, but you get the idea. I'm recording both vertically and also horizontally. So as I'm recording, I'm also using this tool called the Stream Deck. So the Stream Deck allows me to press a button, as you can see, and it changes in. So you're not seeing it on screen, but basically if I were to kind of pull this into frame, or I can put this into frame, and I click, main, it changes. So you don't see anything now. If I click keynote, it changes. And so basically it's a virtual one and there's a physical button one. And one of the things that, from experience, I prefer this is because especially if I'm in a meeting room, conference room, and internet is not my strongest forte, this is actually a lifesaver. And also at the same time, because I tuck this at the side, so you can't really see anything here. But there's something actually going on. So same thing here. If I click on the button, okay, never mind, forget it. Anyways, so that's the whole idea. And at the same time, you notice that I have this little paper with me. Of course, I can have set up where I can have like a slide transition through here. Or the easiest one, which I tell my students to get started, is use this kind of like flashcard to get started, right? These are all the scripts, just to run through some of the things which I also want to cover, and we cover some of them in the other videos as well, is, what is the framework behind the content waterfall system? How do I put it? Well, at the end of the day, it's all about getting leads, right? And this is the summary of what we just did in the last video. So I just thought of kind of like breaking it down. And most importantly is why we're doing content is so that we can remove doubt from the customer's mind towards trust. And how shall we get started? Very simply, things that we were talking about in the previous video is that a lot of times, a lot of system teaches you how to find leads, like, build a funnel, build a website, launch ads. And if you're going to launch ads, you need to know how to design graphic. And there's just so many things you can do, right? Email campaigns and then blah, blah, blah. But it gets so overwhelming that most people just either don't do it or it takes a very, very long time to actually master it on. I've been doing this for the last 10 years or so. And this OBS technique has been around for the longest period of time, way before I think the internet was born. But the idea is that someone basically figured out, hey, we can actually use this technique, but for coaching instead, rather than just for streaming. So OBS actually stands for Open Broadcast Software. And it was originally used for like those, virtual conferences like Tony Robbins and then the graphics and stuff like that. And so yeah, coming back to this, the whole idea is how do we take, simple everyday stuff into content? One of my favorite techniques is using this concept, right? So imagine coming back to funnels, we talk to people and people meet you for one of two reasons. One, you have identified a gap, right? Second, you have found a solution, which is basically your offer. If you're able to bridge the gap, you have an offer. And last but not least is trust, right? Do people actually trust you to say, yes, I want to learn from you, I want to buy from you? And that's one of the biggest, thing trainers, find it very hard to do it. And one of the things that I just want to tell you this story, and it's a true story, it's because I run a training organization. So basically my programs are accredited, it's funded. And my day-to-day job is, professionally is to do two things, right? Write courseware, get it approved, get it accredited, and basically sell, right? But the thing is, a lot of trainers who, just get accredited are very afraid to do that because it's a lot of work to do, which in fact it is if you do not know how to do it, right? So basically this, this framework or this diagram basically just, helps me, hopefully helps you, simplify stuff. So coming back to this, right? If you manage to discover a gap in the market and you have a solution, which is an offer, and the only purpose that they're going to meet you is to build trust. Again, coming back to that previous flip chart, to move away from doubt to trust. Then the whole idea of creating content, right, is can you take this conversation and put it online, right? So that when people actually meet you in person, right, they already know what to expect. They are not, they already know that they're going to be sold, but they already sold themselves, if you get what I'm saying, right? So why do you want to do it in this day and age? Very important is because in one of the diagrams that I recently draw, we talk about this thing called sales versus marketing, right? And there's this saying by Neville, who is a very successful billionaire, I think, investor. And he says this, right, is that if you are struggling with sales, it's because you have yet to master marketing. Once you've mastered marketing, then sales become a form of service. So what does he mean by that? Is that a lot of times, especially if you are a finance person, a property agent, you are in the consulting line, advisory line, and I personally hold a financial license, a lot of the times the techniques that we were taught were not designed for soft sell. It's very technical, it's very knowledge driven. So for those who cannot keep up, the industry is really not for you. And when you meet people, people is always wanting the get the better end of the stick, right? And who are you truly serving? Are you truly serving the buyer or the seller, right? So all these things gets very, very complicated. But I think this system kind of works especially if you're in the advisory business, the coaching business, the education business, or in my industry, the edutainment business, because not only am I able to draw and demonstrate to you, it's very engaging to learn from, right? So the idea is this, right? If you are stuck in sales, the whole idea is you have to turn your content or document your work, okay, into marketing and post it online, right? And I'm going to be sharing with you what I just published just like 30 minutes ago, okay? So allow me to play with this thing. So this is the video I just edited, and basically you can see that there are captions here. And the way you do it is on top here, there's a caption, so you can just click generate, and the video has already been edited, right? So all I have to do, and I like personally to do this, I like to export the videos as a separate file than the caption file, so I can kind of separate this. And because editing caption takes a lot of time as well, so if I just want it fast and furious, I'll just export it as an a la carte. And when I click export, of course you can choose video, whether you want to export the video together with the captions or captions. So just take note, when you publish with caption, video and caption, your caption will show up somewhere in the video. If you don't know if you do not want that, you have to kind of separate it. And when you export caption, you want to export as an SRT file. And the reason why you want to do so is because it has a timestamp. So what I'm going to do is, let's say if I open ChatGPT, okay, give me a second. And let's just say I throw the text file here. Okay, and I can say, hey, can you please give me the timestamp? It will give the new timestamp. It can create the description for YouTube, for let's say LinkedIn articles. You can expand very, very quickly. So this content waterfall system, right, is once you create a video, you have kind of like an unlimited or at least a fixed amount of content you can create with very, very minimum effort, right, which you can systemize. And to take it even one step further, so once I've done that, one of the things I'm very lazy to do is I like to use this software called wa.link. The whole idea is that you just put in your phone number and the message you want people to click. So if they go to, let's say, let me just see, if they go to, say, my YouTube description, okay, and then they click on this WhatsApp link, it will redirect them to the message that you kind of, have crafted. So at least you can identify who and where they found this link and what, content they have perhaps watched. And one of the things that, I like to use is this thing called ManyChat. So ManyChat is basically the AI version of me. It's like I want to create a twin me, a twin customer service where they can automatically reply on like Telegram, Messenger, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, basically the whole idea is that if you want to automate it, you can, but this is something we dive really deeply in the class as well, if you choose to, and if there's a particular use case as well. Okay, and then with all of this done, what we want to do is to build up like the one pager. And so how the one pager will look like is basically in this one pager, you want to have this content pillar, which was taught to me by Taki. And so we have to split it like so. One is basically the promise, like what you are going to deliver. And the other one is the guarantee. In the event, like say, hey, things don't work out, what is the guarantee that you make and fulfill your promise? So the guarantee could be, if let's say in 12 weeks, you don't get new leads, you don't get new clients, I'm going to guarantee you that we work until we do. Or for example, in my day-to-day job consulting, my promise is that I'll get your program accredited. The guarantee is if it doesn't, because this is beyond our control, we'll make sure it is guaranteed until otherwise, someone says, I want a refund. Okay, and then of course we need to talk about, say, any bonuses and any, say, scarcity. And the whole idea is like, why now, right? Don't mind the spelling. Why now? Okay, like why must you act now? For example, for courseware, basically there is a window where we have to submit, and the window closes every quarter. So if you miss it, it's going to take another 6 months, because it takes 3 months to approve, and then you can only try again the next following season. So why now is very important. Or you have limited slots, limited seats, etc., or you're just comfortable, right? There's no right and no wrong in this. When it comes to bonuses, right, a lot of times, a lot of fluff marketers like to say, hey, you must sign up now, you must be the first one. If not, if you're the first 5, we'll give you a discount. And then if you're the first 5, we're going to give you this bonus and that bonus and stuff like that. And that's something that is a very old traditional way of doing, sales closing, platform closing. That's what they used to call it. Instead, today in 2026 and beyond, people can smell that from a mile away, right? So when we want to think about bonus, or we want to give away bonus, the question, at least I ask myself, is, can I justify it? Number one. And Taki's version is, does it help your customer get closer to the promise faster, quicker, and maybe even better? One of the things that we give when people come for this particular coaching program is that we give them the camera that we're using, which is the Link 2. It's the best camera of 2025. And even towards the end of 2025, they launched the new Pro version, which to me, when I compare it, it's almost no different for a fraction of the cost. So the idea is that's like worth $200. We give that away. Our cost is accredited, so that's, if a bonus, you're an NTUC member, you can have some subsidies, you can get some claims. If you're in Malaysia, very similar case as well. And it's sensitive to time because there's an expiry period for all this, right? And last but not least, of course, if you can communicate all of this properly, then of course the last part is payment, right? Do you offer any kind or type of payment plan? Let's say 1 pay, which meaning to say they pay one-off, 3 pay meaning over 3 times, 3 months, perhaps 6 pay, 12 pay, whatever the option that you have for your customers. Okay, so in this document, you basically contain the 5 different elements in your document to give people a very clear picture of what is it like working with you. And it's kind of more like, hey, this is already the final step. Like they already know who you are. This is with the assumption, of course, that they already know who you are, what you do, what you solve, what problem you're trying to do, what gap you're trying to close, what's the guarantee, what's the promise, any bonuses, why I should do it now rather than later, and payment plan. So all of these elements should be at least inside this Word document, and you can use ManyChat to kind of send it out to the different channels, because at the end of the day, we just never know who is it that will buy, right? So that's that. Okay, so one more thing to add, right? So when we want to do about this, one of the things I also want you to think about is creating 3 different checkpoints for your customers. I call this the pathway. Okay, the first one is, can you help your client get a quick win? Okay, then of course you have the next big win, and last but not least is happily ever after, right? So you want to kind of think of it like, hey, if I want to do this offer, of course, please think about, hey, in terms of a promise, this is one for quick wins, right? And then you have another offer for big wins and another offer for happily ever after, like something they can work with you. Like for us is we have to get your programs accredited so that you can make your programs more accessible for learners, and that should be a bonus rather than like an anchor to be like, oh my god, my program is cheaper because of this funding. And that's the wrong positioning to start off and end with. It doesn't end well. Okay, so showing you the sample, one of the platforms I love to use is Notion. So Notion is kind of like an all-in-one platform where I can also, put the Word docs, I can publish it as a website, and I can send to my client. And the best part is that it's optimized for the mobile phone. So these are some of the things, right, that I put inside: the bonuses, the payment plan, the guarantee, the promises, what you're going to get before and after, why now, etc., etc. Especially in this whole video, we always talk about why now. It's because if you want to win in the game, the content game of 2026, this is one of the easiest way to get started, right? And so we talk about the pricing. And so for us, one of the biggest advantage working with us, let's say if you're a trainer, is that we have, rates, special rates if you have a particular type of membership. And these are the subsidized rate if you are above 40, under 40, or if you're not, then we can explore other opportunities as well. So for example, if you want to join us in this program, this is the pricing that has a sneak peek. And if you want to have an access to this just for your personal review, or even for you to consider, you can just come in with OBS and I'll happily send this to you for you to even copy this script or take reference from this template as well. Okay, and of course, when you click on this, you'll be redirected to the WhatsApp. They can just get the message here, and it's automated, and they just click send. So you know that whenever they're gonna find you, you know that this message comes from which area or which source, so you can do your tracking and stuff like that. Okay, so with that said, let's move on. So if you want to get seen, get heard, and get paid, the three things that we want to tackle very immediately on the first day is, number one, is your program, is that fit for your offering in the marketplace? That's the first thing we want to do. The second thing is, if so, now we have something we can use. We want to kind of build your authority around it as the category king or the category queen, depending on which preference you like, right? It's 2026, inclusive and all. So once we are very clear on, hey, if this is your positioning, this is the angle of attack you want to kind of position yourself, okay, great. Let's build authority, right? The whole idea around authority is this, right? Imagine you are this. Two things people want to know, right? Can you help me reduce the risk? Can you help me reduce the risk and increase my likelihood of success? Okay. It's a bit opposite, but the idea is if you increase the level of success, of course, it goes down, right? Okay, you get the idea, okay? The idea is you want to tip it into your favor, okay? And so if you want to tip it towards your favor, now the one more extra thing is, do you have, I would say, leverage? So in the Singapore or Malaysia context, are you accredited? That's the first one. Are you certified? Do you have a school? Do you have fundings or subsidies? And stuff like that. Okay, so if you don't have it, then that's really where I come in, my school comes in, and that's kind of like the bonus offer. Like, remember we talk about quick wins, bigger wins, and like happily ever after. That's something we also help our students with. So once they have established their authority and market fit, we have a vested interest in helping our students shine and promote together, because I don't have to tell people, my students, what to do. We speak the same language and they know what to do, and all I have to do is just take this video and just share it to my customers, maybe run ads and do a collab. Maybe we can even do a podcast with this setup as well. And that's really the beautiful thing. And so this part is what we call packaging, right? If we can package your offer, it's kind of like a no-brainer whether someone buys or don't buy. The only thing that's limiting you is your creativity and your marketing efforts, the amount of time you spend on your brand, right? Which we talked about in the previous video as well. Okay, and just a recap, if you forgot about it, this was the diagram we talked about. The idea that against time, we were taught to, create, collect leads, build a database, and stuff like that. And they may or may not buy. This is what we call leads. But what we want is this thing called engaged leads, right? So engaged leads is basically, they're not just, consuming your content, but they're actually engaging with you. They're leaving a comment. They're asking questions. And that's what you want to know, because that gives you an indicator that you're on the right track, right? Coming back to that market fit part. And so if that's the case, then the question is, are you investing enough time on your brand? So that this is what we call time on brand, okay? So that the more people spend time on your brand, right, the more likelihood they will buy, and you don't have to kind of sell them. You just ask you, hey, can you please send me the information for the OBS class? How much is it? Can I have the payment link? Do you have an installment plan? Blah, 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 right? It's kind of unbelievable at first sight, but when I first did my first class of like 5, that changed my life, right? And I'm not talking about, you don't have to make your 6 figure and stuff like that, don't it, right? Just do your first 5 figures, or even your low 4 figures. I think once you get the taste of like, oh my God, I can do coaching and it's that simple with no sales team, as a solopreneur, I can do it. Yeah, that's really what we want to give you, that similar experience for yourself for 2026. So yeah, I think that's about it. Cover most of it, I think. Just trying to see if there's anything else. Yeah, I think just to summarize, right? So we talk about, turning conversations into conversions, in another way. That's one. And then we talk about this, is how do you create content, take your one-on-one conversations, 3 reasons why you find you, gap, you identify a gap, you have a solution, which is you offer people and they want to have trust. And the way you do that is to build content. Okay, so we answered this question here. Okay, and at the end of the day, the whole process can be summarized using this framework, and this is what we call the GoPro framework, where the whole idea is to get seen, to get heard, to get paid. We have to build your foundation first. All this is your foundation. MAP was the foundation as well. I just threw all my cards on the floor, so yeah, that's how I know that I'm done, So let me see. Anything else here on my card? Not really. Maybe this helps. I'm not sure. So we talk about this, right? You must be very clear on the promise you're trying to give. Identify the gap, and if you are stuck with no lead, no system, it's because you have no clarity. So yeah, I think that's really about it. Most importantly, shout outs to Chris Doe. He talks a lot about this. Don't be a commodity. I mean, you can choose not to do videos. You can choose not to do personal branding. You can choose to do ads. You can choose not to do ads. You can choose just to be silent, sit there and watch my videos. But at the end of the day, if you want to get paid, or you want to raise prices, you want to command a higher price for yourself, then the whole thing is don't be a commodity like rice. Like commodity rice. Rice is a commodity. What does it mean? It means that, hey, if you're not going to do what it takes to stand out, right? Sure, no problem, but we're going to base your commercial rates, your market value based on what the market is willing to pay. If the market is offering you $30 an hour as an adult educator, I myself, for one, had it before, and that was very, very life-changing, at the same time very demoralizing, because it's so sad. You get paid less than a tuition teacher, MOE teacher. That's really, really ridiculous. So that's a whole conversation for another day. But the idea is, if you want to stand out, if you want to get paid more, don't be a commodity. That's the whole message out of this, okay? If I haven't already mentioned, if you're stuck in sales, it's because you have yet to master marketing. Once you mastered marketing, then sales become a form of service, okay? So again, don't forget, if you want to have more information, you want to dive deep into working together over a couple of weeks. Of course, we do have the physical class for compliance sake. Come to class, we work with you. You get to play the entire setup. Then you can comment the word OBS. Get to experience the system, get to see how my AI works, my system works. And the whole idea is for you to copy and paste this for your business. And again, just to emphasize, I have a vested interest in my trainers and the people I work with. If you're a trainer and educator and you want the leverage to make your package a bit more juicy, to make it more accessible to your audiences, then same thing, you can type OBS or you can just drop me an email. I'll be happy to send you more information about like the leverage part. Maybe even, I tell you what, if you want to learn more about how I set this all up in details, it's a 3-day program that like you come for 3 days class, but we stretch it over 3 weeks. If you want to find out more about how we can help you sell more, get more leads, you can also comment the word leverage, and I will send you basically like either like a booking call or like another page where I can share with you how we help our students get their programs accredited here in Singapore and Malaysia. Again, it still falls back on OBS, right? You still have to put yourself out there, but again, if you want to skip the step, you already kind of know what you need to do, sure, you can comment the word leverage, and I'll send that information to you. Else you can comment OBS and I'll send more information if you want to dive deeper, working with me, working with Lighthouse, working with my trainers, for the next steps as well. So that's how we do it, right? And as I'm doing it, I'm walking the talk. And it's pretty simple, right? So yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the comments below. Like, subscribe. If you have anything, please, again, how I do my videos is taking all your questions based on the descriptions, and I basically create videos out of that, and that's like the content flywheel. It just keeps going. My name is Riley. You can find me on my socials at theabundantriley throughout. Or if you want to watch and see the behind the scenes, how I do it, give the system a try, and maybe you never know, it can be a life and game changer for you and for me. Okay, with that said, see you guys in the next episode, and stay tuned for more.